All right, this is the episode I did not want to record, and yet I can't not do it. And so this is my official last episode of literally first class, at least for now. I don't know what this indefinite pause looks like, but I know that it's here and it's been here. And there have been signs for that. There's been evidence for that over the last less than 6 months. It's actually happened pretty quickly. I was like, I'm in a sweatshirt and I didn't finish my makeup for the podcast. And I just thought, I think I'm not going to put more makeup on in case I cry on this episode. So I started this podcast back in 2021. Is that when I started this? A long time ago. And it was a personal exploration of less fucks, more fun. It was an uncensored place to let my hair down. Literally, I talked about curly hair. Curly Hair Chronicles was one of our episodes. I made you laugh with leaf blowers that were constantly outside my window. And in fact, they were just here today because, of course, it's a Tuesday and apparently that's when lawn care comes. And it was really freeing. It was really free to talk openly about a lot of things and let you in to get to know me a little bit more. And as I've elevated and refined my brand, we've had sponsored, we've had paid ads on the podcast. We've had, brand partnerships. We've had a couple guests here and there that we called pop-up parties, some really high level, amazing people like Dr. Jen Fraboni and Kelly Roach and my Dr. David Rankin, who removed my implants. And I documented that entire explant journey. And all of that will remain. We're not taking episodes down. But it really was just this beautiful place of exploration and freedom. And that continued for a while. And we rebranded the place where leadership takes flight. And I love that. I still fucking love the literally first class name. And I'm going to find out if there's a way to keep that name and do something else with it, maybe. And we rebranded it back last fall, winter time. And I knew that my current production company was kind of going through some changes, and I thought maybe I'll move it local. There weren't any local studios at the time. And then one day, back in, I guess, March of this year, April, it was spring of this year, my podcast production company, my point person, left. And immediately we were put in touch with somebody who was brand new to the company, maybe to podcasting. I don't know. But all I know is that there were, a lot of kinks to iron out. And so we saddled up for a couple months with that, but it was a little bumpy. And I thought, let me explore if there's other options here in Atlanta to maybe just move the podcast to a different production house. And I was lovingly sent a message from one of my friends, Kaylee, who was the former engineering producer on The Burt Show, which goes out to millions of listeners in basically the Southeast. He's amazing. He's super energetic. And anyway, I'm like, wow, that's really interesting timing. And so he sends me a message and I go in and he goes, yeah, we have new podcast studios here in Atlanta. And lo and behold, one of the studios was only 30 minutes from me. And I thought, what a cool thing that's going to align with, our just getting even more specific on the podcast, speaking specifically to $2 million founders and up. Not just being for the female founder, it's for the female founder who already has hit that multi-million-dollar level of revenue and success and resilience and all of the things that come with that, because there are a different subset of challenges and struggles, which I've talked about numerous times, and the way that I bring nervous system work through the somatic lens to leadership. It's with women at that level. And so I was like, what a great way to elevate the podcast. So we went in, I started recording some things. It was a new studio, we had a new team, and it was a new company. So of course there's going to be kinks. But, I bring all this up, I just want to preface this, not to speak poorly of any production house. Everyone has shifts. Everyone has changes in companies. Everyone has staff turnover. Everyone has tech glitches, all that. So this is not about them specifically. It was more about, am I listening to the signs and where God is calling me to go. And so as I look back over the collective evidence of that, it became um, blatantly obvious in my face, like to the point where I was like, I just get to let this go. And what happened next was, you know, episodes started getting edited a little bit later. Okay, not a problem. They're busy, they're growing, which is awesome. Super excited for them. But episodes were getting edited a little bit later. And then, you know, episodes were deleted by accident. That was like a total weird tech glitch. Like he said he tried every possible way to get them back. And I thought, that's so interesting. I'm on vacation this week. I literally cannot even get to a studio right now. I didn't bring my podcast mic. There's no way for me to record a podcast with 4 young children under the age of 10 running around the house um, in a space that I trust this to upload properly. And also, like, I want to enjoy my vacation, you know? And so I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like 3 of the 4 episodes I recorded are gone. And it was just like God kept telling me to put the brakes on. And so I had a conversation with Kaylee and I said, listen, maybe we go into doing the future episodes on a biweekly basis. Maybe we spread them out. I was also feeling like, and I told Jake this, which is really interesting. I told Jake, there's something in me that feels like this podcast is complete. And it was kind of like the feeling like I have had all the conversations that I'm going to have in this moment. I've shared the episodes that I feel, need to be shared. And I feel like the only way to really elevate this is maybe to start having guests on. But I've never felt called in that direction. It has been a 98% solo episode podcast for several reasons, which was I wanted something that would set me up for success. So if it meant it was a 7-minute episode or a 17-minute episode, great. I had created weekly episodes every day for 3+ years. And I think I missed 2 weeks ever, except for that 1 week I was on vacation and then all the episodes were deleted. And I thought, oh my God, this is so interesting. Here I've like worked ahead as I do, and I record all of our month's episodes ahead and they drip out. And I'm like, they're gone. Like God isn't even letting me work ahead. He's like, no, brake pad. You're like, you feel like you're done. Maybe you're done. And it wasn't for lack of topics to talk about because I could talk. I know who I serve. I know how I serve them. I know my frameworks inside and out. I'm a trained somatic practitioner in trauma. Like I have so much education, so much experience. And it wasn't that I ran out of topics. It's like I ran out of inspiration or ways to talk about those topics in ways that I felt like I hadn't done before. And I'm like, that is so fascinating. So I told Jake, at dinner one night, I just feel like I've kind of gone as far as I can go with this podcast for whatever reason. Like I'm like, this is such a strange feeling. I've never felt like this. I've always come into every recording session with like a list of things. I always have ideas percolating. I always know what I'm going to talk about. And I feel like I'm drawing a blank. And that's never happened before. And I was like, okay, so I see this happening in 2 ways. I can either override my nervous system and like figure out a way to keep talking about this, even if it feels like ad nauseum, talking about the same thing in different ways and saying it 85 more ways, but it's kind of like recycled information. Or I start having guests on. I'm like, but I'm already doing that with the Founders Roundtable. Like that's like a live event we run every month. And I have 3 panelists come on every single month. And we have these like closed door conversations and they're live and they aren't released as replays, but like I'm kind of doing that with these guests. I don't want to have another thing that I'm managing guests on because it's a thing. Like if you have a podcast, it's a thing. If you have guests, like you're managing calendars, emails. Did it go to the right email? You're adding their assistant onto the email. My assistant is on the email. Make sure they get the calendar invite. Okay, does the link work properly? Then there's all of the assets like audio clips, reels, graphics for promotion, episode recaps. Like, do we have the right headshot? Oh no, they don't like that one. This one's from 10 years ago. This one, like, there's so many pieces to running a podcast. And then the higher up you go, meaning like the higher quality and the higher value the guest is, the more particular, not always, the more particular they are, understandably, right? They have a brand to protect, they have a reputation that they want to maintain, and usually that comes with a specific bio, a specific headshot, um, a specific way to introduce them. And, their time is super valuable. And so we want to do it right. We want to amplify them in a really excellent way, right? In creation to excellence. So, anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm kind of going through this conversation in my head. I'm like, this is so fascinating. Like, I'm already doing that with Founders Roundtable. I feel like I've gone as far as I can go with literally first class without having guests because I'm kind of like continuing to talk about the same thing all the time. It feels like to me, maybe not to the listener. And I don't know. So, okay, we start doing episodes every other week. And now I get back from vacation and I couldn't get to a studio, but now we ran out of episodes to release. So Christian sends me a link to record on Riverside and do it remote. And I'm recording at home and I'm like, this is nice. I don't have the fucking 30-minute drive up there, the 30-minute drive back, rush hour with school now, like any other traffic, not filling my gas tank, not bringing all my outfits to the studio. I'm like, in my Zoom studio, half dressed from the top, stretch pants on the bottom, or whatever the fuck I want. And I'm like, yeah, this is nice. I think I really like filming at home, actually. And it's like, wow, that is so interesting too, because I'm like, here I thought we're going to elevate the podcast. We're going to go to the studio. We're going to like put the full episodes on YouTube, which we did and we love doing. And it really didn't do much for me. In fact, I think I envisioned the podcast studio, like, looking back, to look different aesthetically. I wanted more of a living room vibe, like comfy, cozy, like come hang out with me. He had two options at this current studio. He might have other ones at his other one, but again, more driving, like an hour away. One of them is more like a news anchor desk, and it has like these cool, it's actually a very cool space. It's got like these acetate colored, like, blocks that are behind it with like, you can put your logo on the TV, but it's like super formal, right? And then the other one that I was in had more like sound panels, but when you see the wide angle on YouTube, you can zoom out and see the wide angle. You'll see that it's really set up for more of like a conversation pod, and there's a total of 4 microphones. So it's not really set up to be like the living room vibe that I'm thinking. And so I'm like, okay, I actually really like doing this. So I send him an email and I say, hey, like, I actually really love filming at home. Turns out that's my version of success. Spending more time at home, less time away. And that feels really like efficient to me. So I like that. Let's continue to do episodes remote on Riverside. Let's do that. So I'm recording. This is where it gets a little crazy. I'm recording. We recorded 3 episodes on the last Riverside remote session that we had. And like my internet is glitching. I look outside. It's like a little rainy, but like okay. His internet's glitching. It cut out like 4 or 5 times. Meanwhile, he's telling me, it's gonna be fine. Like the recording's fine, which it was, and he was right. But to me, it's like there's an internal signal, right? That this is reflecting. It's the internet's going in and out. Did he have all the pieces, etc. So we finally get that done. And now here we are ready to record another set. I actually had like a block of hours today to record the next 4 episodes. And I said to my assistant, I don't know that I have it in me. I don't know that I have it in me. And I think that way back in the spring, when things were starting to fall apart, and I say fall apart, again, the production house was just undergoing some changes, but it affected, our show notes, like how hyperlinks were showing up. Like we were finding all sorts of, inconsistencies. Normal things there's going to be bumps in the road, right? But looking back, it just has felt like there has been this invitation from God for me to slow down, say no to more things, and simplify. And so as much as a big part of me doesn't want to indefinitely pause this podcast, it has become clear to me with all of the other things we've got going on, all the new things I've added to my team and my plate with a very small, lean boutique company, that it's just too much. So, literally first class, right? We launched the Millionaire Mental Health Network. We have our Apex Academy. We have the Champagne Club, which also has the opportunity for people to now co-host. We're finalizing our Made for More retreat, which is our ultra luxury retreat in Grenada this year in October. I have one-on-one clients. I do VIP half days. I guest expert in people's rooms and masterminds. I have other collaborations behind the scenes and other huge things on my heart that I am going to be birthing into the world. And for the first time, I have like this 10-year vision. And so when we get that kind of clarity, sometimes things need to go away to create more space. And it's not lost on me that last night, yesterday, when I made this official decision to film this last episode right now, that, you know, we had an application come through for the co-hosting opportunity for Champagne Club. I have somebody that is such a beautiful, perfect aligned client saying, like, I'm looking at your coaching and here's what I want to do with you. And we're seeing if that's a fit. And so it's not lost on me that it has opened space in ways that are exactly where I know I need to be. And, I feel like I've been dancing on the brink of burnout myself the last few years. Y'all, these past few years personally have been so much. In 2022, and within the same 6 weeks, my childhood home burned down in New Jersey. Jake had a traumatic brain injury, lost short term memory while I became a caregiver, completely unprepared for what that meant. The future financially was very uncertain. I had a second company completely crumble. Like, I'm talking contracts, we canceled contracts, relationships were ruptured. It was like a no coming back from type of thing. And it was super painful. It was, a business partnership completely imploded. It felt like my reputation and my path was completely questioned. But also it was a huge financial hit. And enter an economy that's shape shifting faster than you can say AI. And that in return just created so much uncertainty on top of the thing I've been writing about and talking about forever since the pandemic, the post-pandemic hangover. I talk all about the state of the world and the level of uncertainty through the post-pandemic and how collectively I don't think that we have healed from that trauma of the world shutting down, of systems that felt safe and stable now being questioned, of God knows what conspiracy theory is being true, or if it's a conspiracy theory about a conspiracy theory. It's just so much. And on top of that, the global exposure trauma I talk about, where we just have this access through this amazing, but also super scary amount of information on our phone. Like knowing every terrible thing that's happening in real time in the world all at once right now. I mean, I deleted TikTok, I've managed my input. Simultaneously, I went through a breast explant surgery. I was having migraines every single month. Now I'm going through perimenopause. It's just like, hold the fuck on. And like, let's not forget I went through a divorce during the pandemic too, like right before that. There has just been so much personal, um, so many personal changes, um, painful, beautiful, necessary changes. And it's just been so much. And I think that even as someone who does this work, I have my own support system. Thank God. Or I'd probably be rocking in the corner somewhere. But, you know, as I navigate now this new season of life in my 40s with a changing body and trying to understand my hormones, and I've got a kid in middle school and, all the things that come with that, it's just been a lot. And I think my body has been telling me for a little bit, along with all these external signs like, Keri, simplify, simplify, to do better in the spaces that I have, really created. And again, like I get to do less better. So normalizing saying no, normalizing simplification, normalizing the end of things, not for new things to come through, but to focus on the things you've already got and to, again, maybe do it better, but maybe just do it good enough too, right? That's also a lesson here. So this is goodbye for now. It's the end of an era. Literally, first class is what has been one of my favorite things to do. And I'm so, so grateful for each of you. We have a very loyal listenership. Um, we have had amazing brand partners and people that have sponsored the podcast that believe in this work like I do. And I'm just moving this into a different place. So Founders Roundtable has kind of organically become a podcast on its own. I did not intend to create two podcasts. Back when we ran the Leadership Roundtable, it was a bonus, honestly, a paid bonus, twice that we did last year, like after a master class. And we got such great feedback on it that people wanted more. They joined our world. They became, part of our coaching community. They joined our champagne club spaces. And I was like, oh, this is needed. These conversations, like people are hungry for authenticity. And I want it to be bigger than me. I want it to be beyond me. And I want to help amplify those voices, the women that are already doing incredible work in the world, and do it in this roundtable fashion. And so, Founders Roundtable has been a closed door conversation for seven-figure founders and multi seven-figure founders, continuing to talk to you, the same woman, in the same place, same era of her life, same season. But I'm learning too from this, and it's not this traditional podcast format, which it really is exciting. So at least through the end of 2025, we'll continue the same exact format for that, which is it is filmed in a live format. But what I'm really excited about is we're going to give you access to the replays for the last 6+ months on the Founders Roundtable. So, you know, shoot us a DM on I am Keri Ford on Instagram or an email to hello@elevatewithkeri.com, and we'll make sure to add you to that wait list to get these episodes. It's going to be free. You can get the private podcasts and all episodes. I have literally nothing built. There are no episodes for you to have right now. There's no landing page. There's no nothing. But this is the vision that I'm called to. It's about the importance of community, the relevance of relationships, and the truth serum, I think, that we all are deeply craving, that continues to amplify the mission and the movement of other women. It's beyond me, it's bigger than me. And that's the whole point. So I see this as an opportunity for expansion and simplification. So it's really hard for me to let go of this podcast because I still love the name Literally First Class. It's fucking awesome. And we'll figure out a way to maybe work that into something else. But we're going to be putting more attention into the Founders Roundtable. In fact, I love asking for feedback from panelists and friends that have been on the show. And I asked my friend Vina Jetty after the last one. And that episode was sponsored by Glossy, and we partnered with them. And she goes, honestly, I don't have any notes for you. Like, it was awesome. She said, but the one thing that I do want to share with you is do it bigger. And maybe, right, because I'm the eternal, frustrated idealist as an Enneagram 1. Everything could always be better. I love a good standard of excellence. I love maximalization. I love all of that. So right now, we're going to continue doing it as we've been doing it, which is pretty fucking great. I have Jen Gottlieb coming on the show and Kathleen Cameron, who's the manifesting queen. And the guests have just continued to somehow uh, become more and more amazing. And I'm excited for us to continue to bring these collaborative conversations to you. And so, yeah, just get on the interest list for now. Watch the socials, subscribe to our newsletter if you're not on there. I will continue to do the newsletter. That's another thing we added last year, that we've added all these things. And now it's time to streamline some stuff in a way that is very in line to where I'm building, where we're going, and I'm bringing you with me. So it's not goodbye forever. It's goodbye for now. And I feel like this one needs to be called like a Friends episode. It's like the last one or something. But I'm really grateful that you're here. I love that you have joined me on everything from leaf blowers to leveraging leadership archetypes. And I'll see you on the Founders Roundtable. That's where I'll be promoting things. And for now, we're just going to put a pin in this, and I'll see you on a future roundtable. In the meantime, keep it first class.